I thought it was right that, following the decision that the British people took last week, that we should have someone leading the Conservative Party and leading the country who believed in their heart and soul that Britain was better off outside the European Union. And I hoped that Boris Johnson would be someone who could ensure that the government followed the instructions of the British people and also build and unite a team around him in order to lead this country forward. And Boris is an amazing and an impressive person. But I've realised in the last few days that Boris isn't capable of building that team and providing that unity. And so I came reluctantly but firmly to the conclusion that, as someone who had argued from the beginning that we should leave the European Union, and as someone who wanted to ensure that a bold, positive vision for our future was implemented, that I had to stand for the leadership of the Conservative Party.
What was it that changed your mind, though? I mean, you have known Boris Johnson for a very long time. It can't be the case that you've suddenly only realised what his attributes are, and indeed his faults are, or his lack of ability in certain areas.
Boris is a big character with great abilities, and I enjoyed working with him during the referendum campaign, when he campaigned with great energy and enthusiasm. But there is something special about leading a party and leading a country, and I had the opportunity in the last few days to assess whether or not Boris could lead that team and build that unity. And I came, as I say, reluctantly but firmly to the conclusion that while Boris has many talents and attributes, he wasn't capable of building that team. And there were a number of people who had said to me during the course of the week, "Michael, it should be you." I reflected on those comments. I reflected on the individuals who'd made that case. And I came last night, as I say, with a degree of hesitation, but ultimately believing that this was absolutely the right thing to do. I came to the conclusion that it was necessary to put myself forward. We need, leading the Conservative Party and the country at the moment, someone with experience at the highest reaches of government. We need someone who believes in the British people's verdict that they delivered last week. We need someone who can appeal to and unite individuals who argued that we should leave and who also believed that we should remain in the European Union. And already today, I've had support from colleagues across that spectrum, and indeed from outside politics, that confirms my belief that I was right to stand, to offer myself up for election, and allow my colleagues in the Conservative Party to make a judgment about whether or not I am right to lead.
And what kind of Prime Minister would you be? I mean, what would your priorities be?
I would want to be captain of a strong team. The first thing to do is to recognise that we need to draw on all the talents that the Conservative Party has. Indeed, we need to draw on all the talents in the country. I want to lead a government in which people with wise heads and generous hearts work together in order to ensure that the decision that the British people made on the European Union is honoured. That means that, first and foremost, we need to take this country out of the European Union and into the world. We need to restore parliamentary control of our borders, taxes and laws. But above all, we need to build a much more dynamic economy and a fairer society. When people voted to leave the European Union last week, they were voting for change. And there are far too many people in our country who felt that recent economic growth and renewed prosperity hasn't touched their lives. There are far too many people in this country who felt left behind and overlooked as the world moves forward at a faster pace. I want to govern for everyone in this country. I want to heal and unite. And above all, I want to ensure that Britain is a country that others look to with admiration, because we're the home of innovation and creativity, but we're also a warm and compassionate place that everyone is proud to call home.